In early October 2019, a phone call changed everything. When avalanche expert Johann Gaum picked up his cell phone, he had no idea that he was about to be pulled into one of the most enduring and haunting mysteries of Soviet history. What happened on the icy slopes of the Ural Mountains in 1959? Why did 9 experienced hikers flee their tents into minus 30 degrees Celsius temperatures, half-dressed, only to die under strange and terrifying circumstances? Let's dig into it and find out. On January 27, 1959, 10 students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, set off on what should have been a challenging but rewarding ski expedition to Mount Otorten. This was a Category 3 route, the most difficult, facing temperatures as low as minus 30 degrees Celsius. But these were no amateurs. All of them were skilled skiers, seasoned in the brutal Russian winters. Only one of them, Yuri Yudin, turned back early due to illness. It was a decision that saved his life. When the group failed to return, a rescue mission was launched. What searchers found on February 26 still baffles the world today. The hiker's tent was discovered, slashed from the inside. Their belongings were left behind. No shoes, no jackets. The group's bodies were found with strange injuries and signs of panic, with some having hypothermia and others suffering blunt force trauma. 2 bodies were found under a cedar tree, dressed only in socks and underwear. 3 more, including Dyatlov, were scattered between the tree and the tent. And 2 months later, 4 more bodies were found buried in a ravine, some with severe internal injuries, broken ribs, skull fractures. Yet, no signs of external trauma. No one had survived to tell the tale, and no one knew what had happened. The Soviet authorities investigated but closed the case in just 3 months. Their conclusion? A vague explanation, a compelling natural force. The lack of clarity and abundance of oddities gave rise to decades of wild theories. A murderous Yeti? Secret military weapons testing? Paranormal activity? But while the world spiraled into speculation, science stayed silent until 2019, when the case was reopened at the request of the victims' families. That's when the mystery reached Johann Gaum, a physicist who had never even heard of Dyatlov Pass before that fateful phone call. Gaum, head of the Snow and Avalanche Simulation Lab in Switzerland, was intrigued. Could science finally bring clarity to this decades-old enigma? He wasn't alone. He reached out to Alexander Puzrin, a Russian-born professor from ETH Zurich, an expert in landslides and delayed avalanche triggers. Together, the 2 men dived deep, scouring Soviet archives, interviewing experts, and building complex models to simulate what really could have happened on that fatal night. A slab avalanche, a rare, delayed form of snow collapse, could be the answer. The most common theory suggests that the hikers dug into a snowy slope to pitch their tent. Unknowingly, this weakened the snowpack, but the avalanche didn't strike immediately. Instead, katabatic winds, powerful gusts of cold air rolling downhill, piled up more snow over several hours. At some point, a crack formed. The slab gave way. A wall of compact snow crashed into the tent. Gaum and Puzrin's simulations showed that such an impact could inflict the same internal injuries, without visible wounds found on the victims. It was enough to panic the hikers, who cut their way out and ran barefoot into the deadly cold, only to succumb to hypothermia or die trying to escape the crushing snow. But not everyone is convinced. Why wasn't there visible evidence of an avalanche? The slope angle was less than 30 degrees, too shallow for most slides. And why did the avalanche occur hours after the snow was disturbed? Gaum and Puzrin tackled these head-on. Using updated friction models and terrain data, they demonstrated how a small, barely visible slab avalanche could occur even on gentle slopes. And crucially, the delayed reaction could be explained by the time it takes for weak layers of snow to slowly destabilize under additional weight. Still, the scientists are careful not to overreach. The truth is, no one can ever be sure what happened that night. But our work shows the avalanche theory is not only possible, it's plausible. Today, the Dyatlov Pass Incident is more than a mystery. It's a part of Russian folklore. For many, it symbolizes the cold, enigmatic power of nature and the secrets the Soviet Union left behind. But science, slow, methodical, and relentless, is still chipping away at the myth. Thanks to new models and courageous researchers, the ghosts of Dyatlov may finally be finding peace. Was it nature or something else? The truth may be buried in snow, but perhaps not forever. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more real-world enigmas right here on World Observer.